Welcome to the graveyard, the place where we have fun, where monsters, ghouls, and goblins, and this is where we're coming from.
If you want a spooky trip, come along with us tonight. We'll introduce some fiends who are really out of sight.
You can betcha, we can betcha, and we'll catch a We're gonna scare ya, we won't spare ya, and if we dare ya, we will share ya, Tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna scare the face right off of you.
Good evening to one and all. I'm hoping you all can hear me. Let me just double check my microphone. If someone can give me a heads up. Pat, you can hear me? Great. Thank you, sir. All right. Welcome to the Good Stuff Live. My name is Dave Sundstrom, and if you enjoy talking about music, movies, and mostly television, mostly TV, well, you've come to the right place. And tonight, you know what? Not only is it the Good Stuff Live, but it's our annual virtual Halloween party. It doesn't get any better than that. And so to celebrate the Halloween season with me, I've got one of the all-time greats, one of my favorite guests, Mr. Pat McCormick is here with us tonight from Golden Rage of TV. Be careful with that thing, my friend.
Oh, it's not very sharp.
Ow!
It's not very sharp.
Yeah, how you doing, Pat?
I'm doing fine. Now that I'm with you and everybody else. Hi, everybody else.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of folks in the chat already. We've got 56 people watching us concurrently right now. So nice group this evening. And let me just quickly scroll and see who we've got out there. I see superfan Tracy Roth-Myers. Welcome, Tracy. And there's good old Tom, a.k.a. the Hungry Jerk, is here. Superfan Hungry Jerk, I should say. Superfan Elf Dog 100. Superfan Lance Chafin. The Josh Sings, Tim the Enchanter, Daryl Johnston, Superfan John Collins, Superfan Superplex, Cindy D. Let's see who else we can welcome. Superfan Spike Spikerson is here. Kenneth Wilkinson is here. Dolph Quick is here. He says, he says, will Dave show up or will he forget us again? Will Lance continue to flirt with Tracy? Tune in tomorrow. Well, we're going to find out tonight on all of those things. First off, I am here. Yeah, and let me grab a drink real quick.
No.
Left you hanging, Pat. Sorry.
Oh, I
am
was supposed
here.
to take over.
I need you to take over. Matter of
I
fact,
didn't realize
again.
Holy smokes. Well, while Dave takes a drink, let's just start talking about Halloween, because that's what we're here for, right?
That's right. But thanks for covering. But first, I do want to apologize to everybody that showed up Sunday and found me not around. I don't know how that live stream got started. I know I was considering doing the Sunday live stream, and I even went to StreamYard and thought about it. But I must have clicked a button somewhere, because somewhere along the way, there was a live stream that I never actually pushed the play button on, but the chat was there. And so for hours on end, up to 8 hours, I know, there were people hanging out in the chat, just visiting. And you know what? That's awesome. But I know they were also worried about me, and my apologies to anyone that thought that something horrendous had happened to me, because the truth is that I was hanging out with my little brother and his family. My family was over at his family's house, and we were having a late lunch, early dinner, and just hanging out and having a good time. And so I did jump on and visit in the chat a couple of times later that evening. You guys, at the end there, I think it was around 9 o'clock my time, so 9 p.m. Mountain time. Those that were remaining, there were only 3 or 4 people left, begged me to shut it down so that they didn't have to stay on. Apparently, they felt obligated to stay on. So thank you to all those that showed up, even though I wasn't there, and my apologies. And I got to say one other thing, too. Folks, this is a public service announcement. There is an impersonator out there that is impersonating me. He's created a channel that says Dave Sundstrom. You have to look. There's a little dot or a little squiggly thing under the lowercase s on Strom. So they've created a channel, and they are replying to some of my comments and trying to get you guys, are saying something like, pretending it's me, because they've got a picture of me, saying like, hey, I've got a great offer, text me. And then they give you another number. And obviously these guys are scammers. So do not fall for that. I've reported that individual to YouTube, and hopefully they'll eliminate the channel shortly. I've hidden that channel user's comments, I think, to the best of my ability here on the channel. But please, folks, do not reply. I am never going to ask you to text me. And it's highly unlikely I'm ever going to tell you that I have a great offer for you. It's just not in my nature. My great offers are the videos that I'm dropping and the live streams that we have. That's how I like engaging with you. And anything else you should be a little bit suspicious of.
Yes. Well, the check's in the mail, Dave.
Yeah.
Wait, that wasn't you?
No, it wasn't, Pat.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Regarding Lance flirting with Tracy, well, we'll just have to find out with the throughout the stream. But Lance is kind of a flirt with lots of folks, I've noticed. It's just in his nature. He's an emoji flirter, and that's a-okay. Custom God is here. McGanahan Sky Jelly Fetty, Cindy D, Floyd Lawson. Love that name, Floyd Lawson. Yes, we all should. Daryl Johnston. Let's see. I think I've shouted out to all the super fans, at least I've seen so far. Terrell Bellinger is here. Let's see. Alfred Oduardi. Good old Al Oduardi's here. Candy's channel. Oh, look at that. I love that.
I got to show it off. Yep.
Nice. Love that shirt. Love that shirt. TJ921 Abel is here. Ed Myers is here. The Macaco is here. Scarlet Red Magic, welcome. Good to have you with us. A Tran Fanatic is here. Georgia Ayers is here. Rosemary Magrino is here. Welcome. Good to have you with us. Emily Miller, superfan Emily Miller, says, hey, Pat, all caps, exclamation point. She's excited to see you.
Hi,
As
Emily.
am I. It's not often that I get a Pat as the solo guest on an evening, so it makes the evening even more special for me. Not that I don't love all the rest of the guys. They're all great, but this is great too.
If I'd have known, I would have put on more makeup.
All right, Keith E is here. The Life and Sad Ending, who says, a Dave imposter? Uh-oh. That's preposterous. Well, hey,
there you
Steve,
okay.
Steve, you should know. of all people, that there are people that like to pretend to be other people. Steve, who has the original Life and Sad Ending channel, has had his videos impersonated and mimicked many times over. Todd McCreary's here. Flash of the Pan is here. Raider Champion is here. Giuseppe 47 is here. And we have our first super chat from John Collins, who said, "Hello, Dave. I apologize if I overreacted on Sunday, but we're all genuinely concerned. Thankful it was just a glitch, and it's awesome that we're all back together for the good stuff." Yes, indeed, it is. 75 of us are here now for this particular live stream. Thanks to everyone who has joined. I could welcome people for the next hour, but I'm not going to do that. So we'll stop there. Let's give John a little something, though. Let me throw a little thank you his way. I always like to throw the Dukes at him. And with
someone is trying to embarrass me.
I keep cutting myself off with the videos there, but thank you, John. Truly do appreciate the support. Awesome to have you here with us. Pat, love your latest, I was going to say I love your latest video, but I noticed you just dropped a video 4 hours ago that I haven't watched yet. Tell us a little bit about that thing.
Well, it's still along the lines of the compilations that I've been doing for the last couple months here. And this one is just scary, spooky TV shows that I'd already done retro TV trivia episodes on. And it's great. It's great that I'm able to link these together and make them a single entity, as you would. But I do have news, and that is that I have actually, believe it or not, folks, recorded a new episode. And it will drop on Halloween. Go figure. It's a Halloween episode. Yeah, I've really been pushing this holiday, but it's my favorite, so I don't feel bad about it. It's just maybe a little overkill. But that said, this Sunday, I've got a real special Halloween episode coming on, and it's fresh, it's new, it's me. And
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Halloween themed. Any more hints than that, or are you going to just leave us in suspense?
Let's see. I could say it's based on a TV show. It's actually maybe even a specific episode of a TV show that this was the only strategically placed holiday episode of this series ever. They only did it once, and that's about all I'm willing to give up.
Okay. All right, I cannot wait. What time approximately, Pat? Give us when can I be looking for that thing?
Well, of course, it's Sunday, so Dave's much more of an expert on when to post these things than I am, folks. But I would say I'm going to do it first thing in the morning. So it's a holiday. It's about Halloween, and so let it run all day, baby. That's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. I love it that Terrell's already saying, can't wait for Pat's Halloween episode. You and me both, Terrell.
Hey, Dave, really quick. I don't think in any of these I've ever had a chance to thank all your fans. And I want you all to know how much I appreciate it. I finally figured out how to look at the comments correctly. So now I see what you're all saying, and I'm, somebody just guessed it. But I really appreciate it. I really appreciated you guys pushing me over that thousand mark, and the continued support from these super Sundstrom fans has just been amazing. Thank you. I wanted to get that in there.
That's awesome. Well, they are absolutely the greatest fans on YouTube, without a doubt.
I agree.
So I feel truly blessed that we have such a great community here, and I feel like broadly, your channel, my channel, Ian's channel, we're all kind of like part of the same community, and all of these wonderful YouTubers are part of that large village of YouTubers, if you will.
It's a
great.
Family.
Thank you for saying that. Yep, family. Absolutely.
I agree. Really
absolutely. There were some good guesses there. Let's just leave it at that. I flashed them on the screen, the ones I saw. Superfan Lisa Fields is here. Welcome, Lisa. Good to have you with us. And you know what? This is a good way to jump into the first topic that I wanted to talk to you about, Pat. And I wanted to get also comments from our folks that are on the live stream tonight, which is, I know a lot of them were commented on the poll, but I asked a question, which was, I had read an article on like the top 5 Halloween candies. And I then said, which one of these is your favorites? And I'll go ahead and post the result here. Let's see.
Thanks.
There it is. So the choices were Kit Kat, M&M's, Peanut Butter Cups, Skittles, and Snickers. And no surprise, at least for me, Peanut Butter Cups came up way on top. Really, it was just not even close. But I'm curious, Pat, if you had a chance to vote, and if so, which one did you vote for?
Well, Dave, I think, dare I say, great minds think alike. I actually put a poll up exactly like this about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I think we basically threw the same candies up there, only mine contained Butterfinger.
Oh.
And I don't really understand why it ranked so low, considering it really is the absolute best Halloween candy that is out there. But
so that would be your choice, would be Bart Simpson's favorite, the Butterfinger bar?
Hands down. But, amongst those choices, Reese's is it was really funny. I knew a guy named Steve Reese, and he spelled his name with a C. So I typoed that one. And it's like, boy, this guy's really smart. He doesn't even know how to spell Reese's. But I think people understood and gave me the benefit of the doubt. But, there's always that go-to Snickers. Snickers are great. It's a great combination. So if it isn't Butterfingers, it's Snickers for me.
Yeah, I love all of those bars. Now, the Butterfinger bar, though, is an interesting thing because for me, I like it. But there's a couple of things that are at play there that cause me to pause. One is that it seems to be a little messier candy bar. Then, it just kind of falls apart a little more. And I'm a messy guy, and it ends up on my shirt and all those kind of things. So
Dave, these are all bite-sized. What are you talking about?
That's true. A bite-sized Butterfinger's different.
Dave eats his Halloween candy daintily, one bite at a time.
Well, and I do think even with I had an Almond Joy snack sized or fun sized last night because we bought the Halloween candy, and I hope it makes it to out here. It's Saturday night, but I hope it makes it to Halloween because we're all just kind of like we're all just kind of dipping our hands in there and starting to taste them. But I do 2 bites on each of those fun sized bars to try to make them last longer.
See, that's the thing. You have discipline, Dave. This is obviously a person.
I have no discipline.
Under very much under control of his candy consumption. Yeah, not me, man. That's like, let's see, what can I combine? That's kind of like, that didn't go so well. I'll tell you a couple not to combine ever is Sweethearts and, anything chocolate. No, I think most people would agree with that.
Talking about combination, I've tried to flash a bunch on here. And by the way, for those folks that said, what about candy corn? I know I saw it in the chat here a couple of times. Let's see if I can find one of those comments. Kurt Craighead said, no candy corn. Well, I love candy corn. I know that not everybody does. I love candy corn. I even like circus peanuts, speaking of bad candies. But it wasn't top 5. That was kind of where I was. I just kind of posted the top 5. But those folks that voted for candy corn totally get it.
Well, and of course the standard brand is that Brock's stuff. Which,
yes.
I think they make that out of candle shavings. But then you have the Jelly Belly version. And if none of you have ever tried Jelly Belly candy corn, I gotta tell you, Jelly Belly, they know what they're doing when it comes to candy. Yeah.
Speaking of waxy taste, that sounds good. But speaking of waxy tasting candy, did you ever buy those vampire teeth or those are the ones I remember. I think there were a couple other things that were made out of wax that they would tell you that it was a chewing gum too, but it was like the world's worst chewing gum.
Yeah, or it had some kind of weird sugary
Oh.
juice in it that I don't know if that
Oh.
acted as blood or something. It made you think you were getting the sensation of drinking blood, or I remember those too. So
Yeah, those were
ah,
horrible. Oh,
good
yeah.
memories. I love the apples with the razor blades. If you haven't had those, especially the caramel and blood, I'm telling you, it's the
Perfect
it's the best.
combination for Halloween. Well, I speaking of combining candies, which you mentioned a minute ago, I actually grabbed a clip from our friend Elvira. So let's play that. It's only a minute long here.
I love her.
I do too.
Nothing is better on a fall day than soup. So be creative. To a couple of cans of tomatoes, add chopped onions, potatoes, which I didn't have time to chop, but a handful of Butterfingers, and some M&Ms, plain or peanut. Okay, just a couple of Mounds bars here wouldn't hurt either. Now, be sure to leave on the wrappers on account of that's where all the vitamins are. Now, you want to just cover it up and let it simmer all day long. And when you come home at night, you've got a delicious treat. Just add some Cracker Jack croutons and soups on. You'll find these recipes and hundreds more in my book, Halloween Cuisine. Recipes like gumdrops au gratin, Tootsie Pop pie, and Raisinets ratatouille. Here's how to order.
Just send $5.95 or $8.99 or $12.99 or $4.75 to Elvira's Halloween Cuisine, Terminal Island, New York. No checks, CODs, DROAs, or food stamps. We want your cash only. Elvira.
Have a happy Halloweener and bon appetit.
Yeah, who knew that all the vitamins were in the wrappers? I had no clue of that.
For some reason, I'm thinking about Mounds bars. I don't understand the.
Here's the funny. I actually remember that evening that Elvira hosted MTV so many years ago. Now I didn't watch the whole, she hosted it for 5 or 6 hours that evening, that Halloween night, but very cool. And I totally understand why you were thinking of Mounds candy bars. It's weird, but yeah. Hey, we got another super chat from John Collins again. I'm gonna do it now. You are officially forbidden from any future super chats. I'll do my best to catch them as they come by, John. I know you.
You can give them Lawrence Welk if you like. I don't mind.
Yeah, let's throw a little Lawrence Welk Pat's way. He can hold the knife to his throat. But he says, Pat, your audio and video is awesome tonight. Also, you have a new cup of coffee coming your way.
Ooh. He said, where is it? Oh, I know what you mean, John. Thank you, buddy.
All right. How about a little? Actually, we'll start with the church lady and move to the Lawrence Welk singers after.
I like them.
Well, isn't that special?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me.
There we go. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, John. Appreciate your support. He is indeed a troublemaker, but he's a great, we really do appreciate John's support. Superfan Mike D says Ghoultown's Mistress of the Dark video even includes Elvira herself. I think I've seen that. At least I know I have seen a couple music videos with Elvira in. I'll have to go back and revisit that. Georgia says she doesn't like Lawrence Welk any more than you, Pat.
Right on, Georgia.
Yeah, right on. Right on. Oh, Tracy Rothmeyer's talking about candy again. Pixie sticks. They always tasted like sugar to me. I don't know. It tasted like sugar. Maybe.
Could it be because it was?
Yeah, there's a little bit of flavoring in them, but not much. Not
Very
much.
little.
Yeah, not much. So let's do this. Let's go to the second survey of the evening that I did. I did another survey. Maybe you did the same survey too. You can tell me the results of yours. But I asked Munsters versus Addams Family. Which one was your favorite? And I've got over 2,200 people have responded to that survey in the last 24 hours. So people have opinions. People have opinions, Pat. Where do you land on the great Munsters versus Addams Family debate?
It's funny because I love them both so much. As a matter of fact, I think my last 4 videos has just kind of bounced back and forth between a Munsters compilation and Addams Family. The Munsters is very slapstick, obviously, and the same could be said for the Addams Family. It just is. It's a little too infantile. Infantile, is that a word? Boy, you guys can rake me over the coals on my grammar anytime you want. But I prefer the Addams Family, just because it had so many different facets to the stories, or to the house, to the family, to the props, everything. There was just so much brilliance put into the different nuances of the show. And let's face it, it proved itself, considering how many feature films. I mean, and they're still coming. So yeah. It's not because it's more popular, clearly, to Hollywood, but I just think it was a better idea. It was a more original idea. You know, Charles Addams, of course, came up with it as a comic strip, but when they took it and created a TV show out of it, it was fantastic. I loved it. Black and white too. Love the black and white.
Yeah, there's something about black and white TV. It's just the more we're distanced from black and white television, the more special those episodes really seem. Here's the thing, for me, and you said it's more, the Munsters were infantile. I would say lowbrow, right? And that's probably the wrong way to describe it as well. But the humor was different. The Addams Family humor felt a little more sophisticated to me, and but that doesn't mean it was my favorite. If I had to just pick a favorite, it would be, even though logically I think, you know what, the writing, everything about the Addams Family was a little better. At the end of the day, I probably would, if I had to pick one, and just like if someone said, okay, we're going to sit down and watch one of those two shows right now, I know I'd go Munsters. I know I would go Munsters. And it's probably, a lot of it has to do with Fred Gwynne is one of my favorite actors. I just love Fred Gwynne.
Well, and you know how I am about TV theme songs, right, Dave? And
yeah, I do.
Let's face it, those two are on the top of the heap when it comes to classics. And you know, the Munsters theme blows the Addams Family theme away.
It does indeed. I mean, the snapping's cool on the Addams Family theme.
You know what I did love about the Addams Family was the fade-in music when it came into the story. Dun, 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 dun. And I just thought, oh, that's so cool. You add our harpsichord, you know. Just the music.
It was so well crafted. The Addams Family as a show, it's just, I mean, they're both situation comedies, but it just felt a little classier to me. Yeah. But again, I mean, if I had to pick, I would have probably voted for the Munsters. And
you know, and they were on at the same time, Dave. So
yeah, I know.
Well, of course, we were young, but what would our choices have been then? You know, I don't know if I saw a first run. If I did, I was like, whoa, very, very too young.
Thankfully, we didn't have to make that difficult decision back then.
It's channel 3 or channel 7, and that's it. Pick one. You only got 3.
But you know what? Speaking of theme songs, I asked you if I could do this, and I think now's the perfect time to do it. You have just home run. And lately, there's been a couple of things that have dropped on your channel that musically that are just great. And folks, you know, Pat's videos, his snack-sized videos, and now his compilations are phenomenal. But his, you know, most of you know at this point, this guy is a phenomenal musician with a rich pedigree when it comes to history within the music business. And he has put together a Munsters theme, and I asked him if we could play it here tonight. So we're going to do that right now, and we'll be back in just a few minutes for more live stream action. By the way, we just crossed the 100 viewer mark. 102 folks are with us this evening. So let's go right into Pat's version of the Munsters, which is, by the way, the best version I've ever heard in my entire life. Not that I've heard all that many versions of the Munsters.
Okay, it's the best.
But it is one of the best. And when we come back, we're going to have Ian join us as well from
Right
Retro
on.
Serial. So we'll have him here not in the not too distant future. All right. Without any further ado, let's do a little Munsters. That truly is a Danny Staten, our good friend Danny Staten says, awesome stuff. And it truly is awesome stuff. Really nicely done, Pat.
Well, thanks, Dave. And hey, thanks for putting that video together for me. By the way, folks, that was Dave who put all that graphic work together on that without even asking me. He just did it out of the kindness of his heart. And man, I'm telling you, that's why we love this guy, because, you know, he's so giving. And I really appreciated that. And I saw what everybody was saying while I was playing it. That touched me. I'm not getting choked up. Too much of a comedian, but I wanted you guys to know that I really, really appreciate that. That was a bit of work. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, so much.
Dolph Quick not being too much of a critic, but he did notice the one thing I noticed as well. He could use a little cowbell, Pat.
I was going to say cowbells, maybe a little less crybaby, maybe a little less whammy bar. Because, man, I'm like, wow, I was really into the whammy bar that week. Ian will tell you. He'll tell you, Pat, he's just too whammy crybaby crazy. It's true.
So, Ian, welcome. Good to have you with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. Sorry I'm late. Better late than never.
Oh, it's always a treat to have you. Yeah, definitely better late than never. So, Munsters or Addams Family?
Now Addams Family, then Munsters. So it's a little difficult. I think for me, when I was a kid, it was in reruns. Obviously, both were, but I found the Munsters to be much more funny. It's kind of straight up with the jokes, much more funny.
Oh,
yeah. Hey, how you doing, Emily? And Lance, how you doing, Lance? And everyone else, hey, how's it going? Good. I'm glad to be here. But kind of, with the advent of the movies, the '90s movies, I kind of went back and got into the Addams Family a little bit more. It seemed a little bit more. It's like the difference between like pop culture and cult classic. Munsters seems to be a little more pop culture, and Addams Family seems to be a little bit more cult classic. So a little bit more cult classic for me today. But back then, as a kid watching it, Munsters was just the ones that made me laugh. Where Addams Family, I was like, I don't get it. Get it now.
I think we kind of hit the nail on the head. I think maybe even when it initially debuted, I think the Addams Family probably appealed a little more to an adult sense of humor, and the Munsters with Herman and the rest of that wet grandpa and Butch Patrick in there as well. It just I think maybe that one appealed more to the kids.
Yeah, covered the bases. That's for sure. Covered the bases.
Yeah, for sure. Well, great. Good to have you with us as well. Let's see. Let's read some comments really quick here. So Superflex, Superfan Superflex, by the way, I think he's just following up on conversation that you had on Monday.
On Monday, yeah, where we talked about the new Dune movie. It was great.
That was fun.
He says, do you think that the 1984 Dune, the David Lynch Dune, would be a good Halloween movie? Would you be watching that one on Halloween?
Probably not. I don't really do too much special on Halloween. I do celebrate the night before Halloween though, because it's Reformation Day, and that's big at our church. So we go all out. We party like it's 1517.
Well, let me ask you this: do either of you, and I'll throw this out to either of you, and I'd love to know what the audience watches. I have a couple of go-to movies around this time of year that I always watch. Do either of you have a go-to movie that you just watch this time of year because it just feels right? Pat, you're nodding.
Anything Hammer horror.
Oh, yeah.
Anything. I love them all. So that is a bulk answer.
Right.
But when it comes down to my favorite classic horror film, Halloween, gotta put it on, it's always The Legend of Hell House.
Oh, classic Richard Matheson story.
Yep, Roddy McDowell at his best. And just the ambiance, the whole vibe, the whole thing. I saw it in a theater when I was very young, and it scared the poop out of me. But you know what? I had to own that. I had to own it because that is it's Halloween. It's Hell House time. Because it's really scary.
I need to watch that one again. I haven't seen that one in maybe decades. I haven't seen that one.
It holds up. I recommend it to everyone for sure. Little risque, but hey, rated R, no problem.
Right. It's
Hammer films.
Yeah, right. It's. How about you, Ian? Is there a movie you watch around this time of year? Or even if it's not around this time of year, is there a scary movie you love?
I do like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I've always really been into that one. I don't really do the horror thing too much, but I do like The Nightmare Before Christmas. I think Tim Burton, that show was awesome, and Danny Elfman. I mean, the soundtrack on that is just incredible. So that's probably one that I really do like, and I do like the Great Pumpkin, the Peanuts. Great Pumpkin thing. That's a good one as well.
Man,
And
Ian, you are scaring me to death with these choices. I wish you picked something a little more benign.
well, I do. We do watch Luther. We do watch Luther every year, though. So that's probably way off script. But the 2000, I think it was 2006 biography of Luther is just awesome. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Great.
Al Oluwardi, by the way, he mentions the other day on your live stream, Ian, I dropped the bomb. You guys were talking about Halloween, and I said my favorite Halloween movie is Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. And that darn Thrash Pondo Pons started giggling.
Yeah, he did.
He started giggling, and then he started singing it. And that right there tells you the power of Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's my favorite. It's not the best Halloween movie, right, of the series.
It actually could be.
Well, I probably would still say number one.
Yeah.
But what I loved about Halloween 3, and if I'd been on actually the live stream, I would have defended it, is it was such a 180. It was an about face from what, and I think that's part of the reason it kind of flopped at the box office, was it wasn't anything to do with Michael Myers or anything. It was a completely different story, and I love it. It's you know, it's not going to fall into my top 10 horror movies list, but it's when people start talking about Halloween, I love to throw that one out there. So I'm glad Al's watching it. It's not what I would watch. I'll tell you mine. I always watch The Ghost and Mr. Chicken with Don Knotts. I always watch that, if for no other reason than to have that crazy organ music playing throughout the house for an hour and a half. I love it.
Right.
Love it, love it, love it. Lots of great choices. One more thing I'll throw at you guys and ask real quick. Since you mentioned The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I love Tim Burton movies, by the way, Ian, all of them.
Yeah.
Christmas movie or Halloween movie?
Aha. Well, it's called The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I actually did a video on top 5 controversial Christmas movies, and whether or not it's truly a Christmas movie, because it does kind of border both, whether or not it's a Christmas show or a Halloween show. It's got its foot in both worlds. I mean, do we have to choose on this one? I don't think I don't think anybody would dispute whether or not it's a Halloween movie, but I think people might dispute whether or not it's a Christmas movie. I think that's kind of where you'll get the naysayers and the balkers saying, well, it's not really a Christmas movie, but it is a Nightmare Before Christmas. It has Christmas in the title. It's Christmas themed. So I think it is a Christmas movie and a Halloween movie.
Excellent. How about you, Pat? Where do you land?
Apples and oranges. Next.
Apples and oranges.
I'd say both. I think you can say both. You can watch it either time of year because of just how wonderfully it's crafted. Hey, John Collins wants to know, did the Munsters have any sort of full-length movie made out of it? Have either of you guys seen Munsters Go Home?
I've not seen it, but I knew that they did have a movie. Was it like a made-for-TV movie or direct-to-video?
Feature-length film that came out in the movie theaters, 67, I think, somewhere around there, right, Pat?
Yeah, certainly not my favorite. It was great. Great that they had the original cast, except for Marilyn. That was a third Marilyn,
right?
And it was in color, which I prefer them in black and white. John Carradine, of all people, was the butler in that, and that was bizarre because he was actually Herman's boss on the show. So great that they brought him back, that legend. But Robert Pine's the love interest of Marilyn in that, from Chips.
Chris Pine's dad.
Yeah. So that's really cool. But otherwise, if it's on, I'm like, no.
And it will be on for folks that have Me TV. I understand it's going to be on, I think, on October 30th. So if you're curious, like Pat, it was not the high point for the Munsters.
You got to see it once. You got it.
Yeah.
You got to see it once.
So if you're curious, watch it. Definitely watch it, especially since Me TV's playing it again.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's see real quick. Other comments. The Fog is a great movie. It's a movie that I would, if you haven't seen the original John Carpenter version of The Fog, it's one that I would definitely recommend. Village of the Damned, Superfan Lisa Fields.
Was that an adaptation of the Stephen King short story?
I think so.
I'm not sure.
I would go so far as to say that anything starring Adrienne Barbeau is a great movie.
Yeah. Oh. Well, and you had the double shot there. You had Adrian and Jamie Lee was in that movie too.
Suddenly I'm thinking of Mounds bars again. Why is this happening? What is the matter? What's the matter with me? I don't know.
Well, it's a great candy bar. It's actually, speaking of Mounds bars, Pat, it's really, to me, if they would mix the two. I love a Mounds bar. And I like an Almond Joy, but the only thing I don't like about the Almond Joy is I want that darker chocolate that the Mounds bar has.
Yeah.
I really want a Mounds bar with almonds in it. I don't think they've ever made that. And it's, it'd be kind of like a really neat thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
First and third Nightmare on Elm Street. Any of you guys Nightmare on Elm Street fans?
I was a huge Nightmare on Elm Street fan when I was a teenager. Like a big one, like a Freddy Krueger. I went as I had a glove that I actually there were tent spikes that they're kind of V-shaped.
Yeah.
And you pound them into the ground. Well, I pounded them together, and then I stuck them through a glove and took it to school.
Cool. And did they let you keep them at school?
No, a teacher actually took them from, but they weren't sharp because they were just tent spikes. So there was no blade on the edge of it. It just looked cool. And a teacher took it from me, and she kind of actually bullied me a little bit in this situation. She took it from me, and I was like, "Hey, you can't take that." And she said, "Come get it." Like basically challenged me to a fight. I was like in 6th grade. And it was a female teacher, and later apparently, and I didn't know this at the time, but later apparently my mom went down and berated her and got my glove back. So, but no, I was a big Nightmare on Elm Street fan, especially look, the third one that had Dawkins.
Yes.
The soundtrack,
yeah.
Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors, yeah, of course. I love Dawkins. So Dream Warriors that was a great one. First one was it was a classic.
Yeah.
And I think I watched all of them except for kind of I don't think I saw 4 and 5 and Jason versus Freddy and that kind of stuff. So
I grew weary of them, but the third one was kind of the high point for me. And it was because of that great heavy metal soundtrack that the movie had.
Yeah.
Hey, comment from Superfan Superplex who says, "Hey, nothing about the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown." Well, it's a TV special, not a movie, which is probably why we didn't mention it. But that's another thing that, along with The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, I always watch. It's the Great Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I love it. I love that Linus is always. I
didn't know you were gonna kill it. So awesome.
All right. Hey, question for you, Ian. Do you think the 1996, this is from Terrell, do you think the 1996's Scream helped rejuvenate the slasher genre, which had been dead and buried at the beginning of the 90s?
Yeah, I saw it in the theater, and we were blown away by it. And I don't really keep up with that genre a whole lot, but that 96 film was definitely good. I even like the second one as well. The third one I don't think I got into, but whenever you have a successful film like that, of course people are going to go, "Hey, let's do that." That's making money. Let's do that again, even if they put out films that aren't quite as good. So you had you had Scream, but then you had I Know What You Did Last Summer and I Know What You Did Last Summer Too, and those kind of films that all kind of rode those coattails. So I think you hit the nail on the head there, Terrell.
Yeah. Someone else mentioned, and let me see if I can scroll back up and find it here. There aren't that many actual TV specials that are Halloween specials. Like, you think about Christmas time, and you can name 4 or 5 at least TV specials that come to mind that are always played. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, but there's a Dr. Seuss one too, like Halloween is for Grinchin', or I know I saw a comment about it. Halloween is Grinch Night or something like that, but they don't play that anymore. There just really aren't that many traditional Halloween specials that there was a Fat Albert Halloween special that I don't think they play anymore. It's just that one. So, but going back to the Scream movies, I understand that there's a reboot in the works on that thing too, along with the Munsters. Anyone excited about a Scream reboot?
No. You could take that knife and stab yourself there for the Scream reboot. I thought that's what you were going to do, Pat.
Maybe.
A Scream reboot. Ah! No.
The night is young.
Okay. All right.
What about the Munsters reboot? What do you think, Pat, about the Munsters reboot? Are you excited?
I can't wait.
Can't wait? Okay.
I think I can't wait. I mean, who knows really how it's going to turn out?
Yeah.
I'm kind of a fan of Zombie's work. It generally, the past stuff kind of was like, whoa, that's so dark. That I'm not gravitating towards that. And so he didn't scare me the right way. He scared me kind of the wrong way. The Munsters, of course, is a comedy. So it's still be interesting to see if that's what he intends to do. I mean, I think that's what he intends to do. And holy smokes, good for him. Obviously he's a fan. His big hit, Dragula, proves that he was a fan, and so with that, I think he's going to do a great job. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm hopeful. Yeah, there was a comment on one of my YouTube videos recently. Who is Rob Zombie? Superfan Emily Miller wants to ask. He's a musician that had a string of hits in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And has transitioned, he still does music, obviously, but has transitioned and become quite a horror film director.
Prominent.
And prominent, yes. His movies they're not gentle movies by any means. So it will be interesting because I thought the Munsters, but it was about this monster family, right? But it had a gentle humor to it. So it'll be interesting to see if he's a true fan, if he's able to capture some of that gentle humor along with the scares and the fun.
That's true. His biggest hit is Dragula. That's the name of the song, Dragula. That's Grandpa's race car. So know he's a bona fide fan. So I'm with you, Dave. I'm hopeful.
Hopeful. Let's see what happens. Hey, just a shout out, Tracy Rothmeyer, superfan Tracy Rothmeyer mentions Rick 9G. I love Rick 9G. It's another great channel. He doesn't pop in. He's popped in a couple of times to the live stream and said hi, but he's not a regular visitor. But he definitely, folks, if you're a fan of the Munsters or Gilligan's Island or I Love Lucy or he tends to focus on a number of different shows, not quite as broadly as some of us do, but if you like those shows, head on over there. He is a huge Munsters fan as well, and he's done a number of great videos on the Munsters. I'd really recommend it.
That last one was on the cast. He introduced the cast, and if I'm not mistaken, the guy that plays Herman is the guy that was the caveman, Geico caveman. The guy that played the Geico caveman.
Oh wow!
Got cast as Herman Munster. I don't remember his name, but that's what we're here for. Trivia.
Absolutely. We'll get to that in just a minute. So I do have a super chat here. It says, this must have been a suggestion. This is is Kinch versus Baker on Hogan's.
Is that Hogan's Heroes? What happened?
I would think that's what it is, but I'm going to need some more details, DM. And if you'll give me some more details, and you don't have to super chat it again, but if you give me some more details, let's see what we said.
Well, I know what happened. If he wants an answer, I know what happened.
It didn't happen, right?
Well, certainly didn't fight. They both took over each other's. One took over the job of the other. And of course, now the names completely slip me. And I did a whole episode on Kinch, who was a great director. Oh, this is bad. Somebody help me. Ooh, it'll come to me.
I don't know.
I'm looking. Let's see. Baker replaced Kinch Lowe on Hogan's Heroes, right?
And he became a great director, television director, for that matter.
Ivan Dixon?
Ivan Dixon, thank you.
There we go. Hogan's Heroes replaced Ivan Dixon on season 6. So that's a suggestion for a future video. As I say, I always go back and review the chat thread after these live streams are over. I'll be happy to add that to my potential topics. It may already be on there. The list is very large at this point, but certainly one that I would need to do a whole lot more research on, since Hogan's Heroes is definitely not my. It wasn't a show I watched a lot as a kid. I've watched a handful of episodes over the years, but it's not one where I claim any sort of expertise on that particular show. What about you guys? Are you Hogan's Heroes fans at all?
Oh, yeah. There's so much authenticity in the fact that these guys, my gosh, most of the cast were actually caught up in that real live World War II mess that was Germany. And I mean, the stories get really deep, but Robert Clary played LeBeau. He was a prisoner in a concentration camp. And it's like, boy, if anybody knows how this is how it is, it would be him. So there was authenticity in that these guys who were playing German officers were actually Jewish Americans that escaped the Nazi regime. That's pretty deep. But it goes much deeper than that. Thank you, Bob Crane. Much deeper.
Yeah.
For sure. Hey, a comment from Jeff Hemphill. Here's another movie that I don't wait for Halloween to watch. This is one of my favorite movies. It was one I snuck into when I was under 18. So it's a special memory for me in sneaking into R-rated movies before I was old enough to sneak into them. I remember we were supposed to see a G-rated movie called In Search of Noah's Ark, but we all realized that the better movie was playing over in the other theater. And so we went and saw Phantasm instead, and Nightmares Ensued.
I love Phantasm.
Boy. Great movie. So, the sequels, there's good moments in them, but that original Phantasm movie is phenomenal. And what Don Coscarelli did on such a limited budget is
incredible,
amazing.
Angus,
Angus Grimm,
yeah,
as the tall man, and that movie for me really demonstrates the power of music in a movie. I love that music in the movie, and the way it really it creates an additional sense of foreboding and ominousness that's just incredible.
Perfectly put, Dave.
Dreamlike movie that is scary, but it never really goes. There's a little bit of gore with those spears that fly around, but
it's novelty gore is what it is.
Yeah. Good stuff. Hey, let's do this. Let's take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back, and let's do some trivia. What do you say?
Okay.
Make Halloween fun with one-stop shopping at Woolworth or Woolco for your Halloween needs. Costumes from $1.83 to $3.99, like $6 Million Man, Bionic Woman, superheroes, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and a new favorite for girls, Holly Hobby. You can get wrapped candies of every kind, bubblegum, lollipops, fun-sized candy bars. Get this Halloween record, Sounds to Make You Shiver, just $1.89. Make Halloween fun and easy. Make just one stop at Woolworth or Woolco.
Dear Great Pumpkin, I'm looking forward to your arrival on Halloween night.
They're back, all the little Peanuts characters, in a happy Halloween special, filled with ghosties and ghoulies and things that go bump in the night. It's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, Monday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
This morning, Billy looked like any other boy, but as the moon rose, he turned into a werewolf. He used new Pa's Halloween makeup kits. His friends did too. Look, Mike's a vampire. Amy's a ghost. Pa's makeup is safer than masks. It never blocks vision, and it's hypoallergenic, too. So watch your kids turn into the creatures they really are with new Pa's Halloween makeup kits.
Oh, I do enjoy an evening with a little light entertainment. But when your video heads get dirty, you lose your picture. Not a pretty sight. Happily, this new Polaroid video cassette will help you. It actually cleans your heads as it plays, so dirty heads needn't haunt you. New Polaroid video cassettes. Get the picture?
All right. Well, first off, to Danny Staten, who said he feels invisible tonight. You're not invisible, Danny. We still love you. You're awesome. Now, it's hard for me, too, as I converse with Pat and Ian and try to run everything else that's going on with the live stream all on my lonesome here. It's hard for me to catch every comment that's made. So I apologize if I've missed some good ones. I promise that I'll go back and read them later. But none of you, the 87 folks that are hanging on through thick and thin, are invisible to us for sure. And we appreciate everybody. But let's do this. Let's get rolling. We're already past the hour mark. We've got some trivia. Let's do some trivia, and let's after the trivia is over, we'll kind of shut things down. But I'm also going to play for those that want to stick around and just kind of just bask in the Halloweeniness of it. I've got a Halloween cartoon for everybody at the end. So you can feel free to stick around after the trivia for that, and after we say so long. So since TJ 921 Abel is leaving in a half an hour or so, it's probably time to get rolling on the trivia so he can play as much as possible. Are you guys ready? Should we test out our scary movie knowledge and see how we do?
Oh, I'm going to be bad at this.
Bring it on.
Fortunately, I think Pat will be able to carry both of us, Ian.
Okay.
Pat can carry both of us on this one. Question number 1. Here we go. What movie villain has a burned face and wears a glove with fingers like knives on it?
Oh.
I'll get that one to Ian.
Okay, yeah, this one can be Ian's. The choices are, and he doesn't know. We don't want him to answer quite yet. But
Here's the hint. The hint is, I'm your boyfriend now, teacher.
Candyman, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, or Michael Myers. Let's give folks a chance. The only one I'll post on the screen here is superfan Spike Spikerson's incredibly wrong answer of Michael Jackson. And I only posted because I know that superfan Spike Spikerson has a wicked sense of humor. And I know that's not a real answer. We'll throw this on here too. Nice video, Pat.
Thanks,
so
Dave.
He could be talking about any of your last few videos. They've all been really awesome. I've enjoyed them.
I'm making that apply to every video I've ever done.
Yeah, nice video, Pat.
Time, if you don't mind. Thank you so much.
All right. Ian, what do you think?
It's Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger.
Indeed. Freddy Krueger. All right. Let's go ahead and we'll look at scores after the third question. Question number 2. Ian, you might be better at this than you think.
Okay.
What famous movie star appeared in the original Nightmare on Elm Street? Was it Brad Pitt, Eric Stoltz, Johnny Depp, or Michael J. Fox? Pat, we'll give you first shot on this one. I know Ian knows this one.
Well,
right.
It was Captain Jack, of course. Johnny Depp.
All right, let's see. Well, let's let people answer for a minute or two more. Let's see if that's the correct answer. You see a lot of answers coming in. I see, some folks are going, seeing a little Eric Stoltz in there. I'm not sure what Arquette is. Was Patricia Arquette in any of those movies? I don't remember. Was she ever in
he was in Scream.
Movie?
Yeah.
Scream.
How about this one? Miles High said it was Michael J. Pitt. Hedging your bet there. All right. So, Pat, you say it's Johnny Depp. Let's see what the correct answer is. Johnny Depp is correct. All right. We're 2 of 2. Let's go to the third question.
These are tough, Dave.
Yes. What horror movie had the tagline, "They're here"? Was it Evil Dead, Friday the 13th, Halloween, or Poltergeist? And we'll hold for a minute and let folks answer the question, and then we'll get scores after we're done here. Candy's channel says that Patricia Arquette was in Nightmare 3. I don't.
Oh yeah,
Was she
was. Yeah, yeah, she was. I think she was the main girl.
That. Yeah,
I think she was the main girl.
Superfan James Abel. Was that the one? Or was it number 2 where the main girl from number 1 dies, or was it in 3 that she dies? I can't remember. I was always sad that they.
I don't think she died. The main girl.
Oh, was it in the reboot? Was it in new? Eventually, they off her. I'm trying to remember where it is.
Must be the reboot because 1, 2, 3, and 4 all had that main girl in it. I forgot her name, but
yeah, there was. I think it was like Nancy, right? Yeah. It was Nancy. Is it Heather Langenkamp? I want to. That name sticks in my head like that.
I'll go with that one. That sounds good, Dave.
But it was like in the one that was called Wes Craven's New Nightmare. I think they finally got rid of Nancy.
They could have.
All right. So who wants to give us an answer on this one?
I think with my limited knowledge of horror movies, I think I could answer this one.
Okay, go for it,
buddy.
It's Poltergeist.
Nicely done.
See,
you said you were going to struggle with this, and look at that. Yep,
get my darn dog out of here.
Heather Langenkamp is her name. That was who played Nancy. It's weird that you can remember things like that. You know, I wish I could remember other more important things in life than that. All right, let's see scores here. Let's see. We've got John H is 3 of 3. Jay Aldridge is 2 of 3. Oops, we skipped. What we got? Let's see. Let's try this again. 2 of 3 for Jay Aldridge. Superplex, 2 of 3. John Ogren, 3 of 3. Elf Dog 100. Superfan Elf Dog 100, 3 of 3. Terrell Bellinger, 3 of 3. Superfan Emily Miller, 3 of 3. Marcus Smith, 3 of 3. Daryl Johnson, 3 of 3. Miles High, 3 of 3. I'm not fooling anybody today with this trivia. Superfan Mike D's 3 of 3. Tim the Enchanters, 3 for 3. Kelly Careless is 2 of 3. Candy's Channels, 3 of 3. TJ921 Abel is 3 of 3. Superfan James Mitchell, 3 of 3. Lisa Fields, Superfan Lisa Fields, 3 of 3. Superfan Michael Cole, 3 of 3. He says Nancy dies in Nightmare 3. I thought that was it, but then I started rethinking it. Atran Fanatic, 3 of 3. Cindy D, 3 for 3. Superfan Lance Chafin, 3 for 3. Jeffrey Hempel, 3 for 3. Carl Smith, 3 for 3. Man, no lonely is Jeff, 3 for 3. Rob Aiken, 2 for 3. Will McIntyre, 3 for 3. Superfan Spike Spikerson is rocking it, 3 for 3. Kimberly Wiederholt, 3 for 3. Superfan Hungry Jerk, 2 of 3. Custom God, 3 of 3. Todd McCurry's Perfectamundo so far. Zuma 15 is 3 of 3. Karen Lester, 3 of 4. Okay. Daryl Johnson says, everybody hit the like button. Please do. Karen Lester says 3 of 3. Georgia Ayers, 2 of 3. Lance Chafin, 3 for 3. Superfan Lance Chafin, 3 of 3. Superflex says, I feel I have failed. Don't feel that way. Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying the live stream? Then you have not failed. Danny Staten is all 3. All right, let's keep them moving.
Who? Oh, Danny Staten. Sounds
what
familiar.
Is the name of the clown in the movie It? Yeah. Is it Bozo, Krusty, Pennywise, or Ronald?
I got it.
Okay, we'll let you answer in about 10 seconds. I think that's all people need for this one. As I go through these questions, I realize that I might have just have had like it's not Christmas and it's not the time for the season of giving, but I might have had a giving spirit about me as I created these questions this time around. Pat, what's the answer?
Oh, come on. Everybody knows it's Ronald. Wait a minute. Pennywise. That's what I meant.
There we go. Pennywise the Clown.
Did you watch the made-for-TV movie of that one?
I did.
Yeah.
It's actually my preferred version of it, even with the crappier special effects. I prefer that to the newer versions.
I didn't get to see the new one. Of course, I wouldn't at this point see it at this point. But back then, I saw that I was a big Stephen King fan back in the day. I mentioned him before. I had a friend who was blind, and back in the '80s, and he was a brilliant guitarist. I mean, one of the best guitarists ever. And he was like my age, so he was young back in the '80s. But he had book on tape that you could order book on tape, because there was just a service for the blind, and we got all the Stephen King books and listened to them. And so we listened to that the one with Pennywise in it. and then we saw the show. Yeah, it 2-letter word. I can't remember. And I don't know, the movie was a little, I don't know. It was kind of disappointing. If you read the book and then you watch the movie, you get disappointed. But I just wondered.
I think that holds true for almost anything, Ian.
Yeah,
a lot for sure.
Yeah, I did like the cast an awful lot, and I thought Tim Curry was excellent as Pennywise in that original.
I thought he was too. I thought he did a good job. He did a good job
for sure. All right,
when has he not done a good job? Is the
right. Before we get there, I just noticed a super chat drop in from DM, so let's throw that on here. And let me ask you, because I haven't seen this movie, has anyone seen April Fools with Deborah Foreman?
Have we seen April Fools, Devin? My son, the super horror fan? No. That's weird.
Yeah, you know what? I vaguely recall the movie.
Oh, yeah. That's the one with where they put the spike in that girl's mouth or whatever. They're eating shish kebabs and they stab her. And is that the one with Judy Brown in it? It's got
Downtown?
Judy Brown.
Downtown Judy Brown?
The other Judy Brown, the redheaded Judy Brown.
Well, it's it's still Julie Brown, I think.
Oh, is it?
But you're right. There was Downtown Julie Brown, and then the redheaded Julie Brown.
Yeah, she was more of a comedian, and she was in April Fools. It is, I think, if I'm thinking of the right one, I could totally be wrong though. It is one of those '80s films. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was thinking of April Fool's Day, which I've heard of. I don't think I've seen either of those movies though. So, but it sounds like there's some fans here for sure. I don't know if it's I'll have to look that up. Let's see. April Fool's. Let me look this up. April Fool's movie. I see a movie in 2007.
Oh, that wouldn't be that one.
It was a horror movie in 2007 called April Fools. The others are titled April Fool's Day, so I'm not sure. Well, okay, let's keep moving. Thank you so much for the super chat. Let me quickly throw a thank you out to DM's dropped a couple super chats, and I don't think I've thrown any thank yous his way. I need to do that really quickly. Let's do a little bit of, let's do this one.
Thank you for your support, and boo to you. Ha 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 ha.
Let's do one more real quick.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Whoopee.
Paul Lynde. That's a TV special. The Paul Lynde Halloween special is huge. I have a copy of that. I love it. One, because it's Paul Lynde, and two, because it has Margaret, what's her name? The original witch. Margaret Hamilton. And then it also has Witchy Poo.
Billy Hayes.
Billy Hayes is on it. And then, of course, the main reason I love it so much is that it had Kiss on it. 3 different performances throughout the hour they played. And it was like 76, 77, so right at the height of Kiss's popularity. And so that, for me, special memories of that holiday special. And I still like to go back and watch that. Another super chat came in from DM. He's on a roll right now. He says, Fright Night, Jim Carrey. Well, I've seen the original Fright Night.
Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, Jim Carrey wasn't in the original Fright Night. But I have seen that movie and do enjoy that one quite a bit. Have you guys seen Fright Night?
Oh yeah, great film.
Yeah,
Great
and I think they remade it. I don't think I've even seen the remake, but the original Fright Night I enjoyed quite a bit.
Gary Busey's son, right? Yeah, it was Gary Busey's son who was the villain, right?
In the original Fright Night?
Yeah, wasn't it?
No, it's Michael. Roddy McDowell's in it as the aging TV star
host. Right.
Michael Onking.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong.
Hang on a second. Fright Night. Again, we're gonna have to check this out. I'm sure you could tell us. I'm sure our community could tell us.
I'm thinking of Frighteners. Frighteners is what I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of The Frighteners, which is another great movie. Chris Sarandon was the bad guy in that one. Roddy McDowell was the aging horror movie host. William Ragsdale was the kid in that show. And the love interest in that one, interestingly enough, was Amanda Bierce from Married with Children. So great movie. Great movie. If you haven't seen it, that's one I can definitely recommend. So let's keep moving though. Chris Sarandon, yeah, lots of folks came to my rescue. I don't need to look anything up on Google.
Right.
People they know. Chris Sarandon, right? I think Sakina was the first to say it was Chris Sarandon. And then the Jim Carrey movie that DM might be talking about was Once Bitten with Lauren. What was her name? Lauren. She was a model, and she had the teeth with the gap in them.
Hutton?
Is it Hutton? Lauren Hutton. Yeah. She was in that movie as well. She was the vampire that bit him. So, Atram Fanatics has never been a Kiss fan. You know what? They're kind of one of those things that I think you had to just be at an age when Kiss was so huge. I was 10, 11, and 12, and there's just something about it. They were magical at that time. There was that Marvel comic book that was made with actual Kiss blood. Those kind of things, you cannot beat that kind of marketing as a kid. But I get it.
Episode right there, Dave. A whole episode.
There is a whole episode there of Kiss memories. And you know what? No, I don't think there's many folks that are going to argue that Rush wasn't, from a musical talent, a more accomplished band. But I think one could argue about the impact that the Kiss has made.
Never heard that comparison ever. Wow.
I think every other Rush song should be called "This Is Not Tom Sawyer." So here we go with another one that's not Tom Sawyer. Like, no.
Greatest Rush song that wasn't really a Rush song was called "The Great White North," and it had a Takeoff.
I love that. Takeoff
with Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Takeoff.
Yeah.
All right, we need to get rolling here.
Come
on. In Halloween, Michael Myers wears a mask of what Star Trek character? Did you guys know this one? Do either of you know this one? Bones, Kirk, Scotty, or Spock? Let's let folks answer. And then, whose turn is it?
It's yours truly.
Okay, glad you know it.
You got it, Ian. You got it. Or we could ask Michael Myers. He's standing right over there.
Oh my goodness! You go all out on this Halloween thing. Like, you don't even do anything for it. So that's crazy.
Right, we're getting a lot of good answers here. Superplex said Kiss must have run out of blood if they printed a comic book with it. I remember this was a whole big deal. They did a little tiny drop of their blood in the red
vial. It was a vial of it. It wasn't there. It wasn't like they printed the whole running.
That would have been cool.
All
my
right.
answer, it's Kirk.
Go ahead. Go
Captain
ahead.
Kirk. Captain Kirk. They did some stuff to the face mask because it was under budget,
Yes.
and then they just bought a Captain Kirk mask and put it on him.
Is that
Yeah, I
true?
think did they add hair, painted it white? I can't remember.
Yeah, they
did
painted it
number of
white
things.
and painted the hair or something like that.
And they opened the eyes up more.
Yeah,
Yeah. Tough question indeed. There's a picture of it right there. We're not going to do any more messages right now. We'll keep going. What is the name of the motel in Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 psychological horror movie, Psycho? Was it Bates Motel, Kate's Motel, States Motel, or Yates Motel? We'll give folks about 10 seconds. That's all they should need on this one.
Oh, my.
All they should need. We'll give folks a few seconds. Let me scan the... Let's see. Candy's channel says, huge Star Trek fan, live long and prosper. Let's see what other comments we can. Atran Fanatic says, I saw Rush live 4 times. I saw them live once. 3, Pat? Ian, have you ever seen them?
No. I haven't been to many concerts. The only big name concert that I ever went to was REM.
That's a great concert. Yeah.
It was the Monster tour, like after they hadn't toured. No, it was the last one, and they didn't tour again for like 5 years. I almost got talked out of it. It's like, oh, they'll tour again on their next album, and then they didn't tour again for 5 years. So I'm glad I got to see it.
I'm glad you got to see it as well. They're phenomenal. Yeah, I saw Rush. I remember Signals was the album they were supporting when I saw Rush. Pat, obviously it was a number of albums in terms of what you saw when you saw them.
Hemispheres. Oh man, beyond belief. It was beyond belief.
Yeah, just incredibly talented.
They weren't much to watch in a huge stadium, but Neil Peart, of course, made up for that. So yeah, and they were they sounded huge for three guys.
Amazing what the sound those 3 guys made. It's just amazing. Without a doubt. All right. Whose turn is it?
It's Pat's.
Yeah, a boy's best friend is his mother. Bates Motel.
Yeah.
Bates Motel. It's
there
Bates.
We go.
We'll leave the light on.
I'm never staying there. That's not a place for me. All right, let's look at scores real quick. Let's see how folks are doing. Come on, let's see some scores, people. I'm seeing a lot of great. Let's see. Kimberly Weeder holds 6 of 6. John Elgren 6 of 6. Boy, I'm far too charitable tonight. TJ 921. Abel 5 of 6. No tricks, no treats. Al Oduardi is 6 of 6. Mike Superfan Mike D is 6 of 6. Marcus Smith is 6 of 6. Let's get some more scores. Amber Lopez, how appropriate, is 666. I imagine she's 6 for 6. Superfan Lance Chafin is 6 of 6. Tim the Enchanter, 6 for 6. Todd McCreary, 6 of 6. Atran Fanatic, 6 of 6. Daryl Johnston, 6 of 6. John H, 5 of 6. Will McIntyre, 6 of 6. Superfan Michael Cole, 6 of 6. Miles High, 6 of 6. Superfan James Mitchell, 6 of 6. Candy's Channel, 6 of 6. Kelly Careless, 5 of 6. Terrell Bellinger, 6 of 6. Elf Dog 100. Superfan Elf Dog 100, 6 of 6. Cindy D, 6 for 6. Oh, I probably have missed some folks because it's moving too fast. Custom God, 6 of 6. Carl Smith, 6 of 6. Rosemary Magrinos, 4 of 6. Jeffrey Hempel, 6 of 6. Superfan Lisa Fields, a 6 of 6. Rob Akins, 5 of 6. Tracy Roth Myers, Superfan Tracy Roth Myers must have left us for a bit because she's 2 of 4. Georgia Ayers, John Collins, Superfan John Collins, 6 of 6. Georgia Ayers, 5 of 6. It's moving too fast for me to catch all of these. Oh, wait, Tracy Roth is 3 of 6. Myers is 3 of 6. Danny Staten has got them all. Where was that one? There it is. And DM says, I miss Neil Peart and Eddie Van Halen. Yes, I think we all do a little bit. Elf Dog 100 says, would you consider 12 Monkeys a horror movie? What do you guys think?
More
Not
sci-fi.
terribly. Yeah, sci-fi.
Sci-fi.
Science fiction, right? Yeah. Did you guys enjoy that movie?
Oh yeah, I did. I don't know.
remember it well.
You didn't like it, Pat? Or no? I loved it. I thought it was
No,
cool.
I have to revisit it, is what I was saying. I don't remember. I don't remember.
Okay.
I know I saw it, but no, didn't have the impact that made me go, oh, of course, I remember that. Like Phantasm, like what Dave was saying. But,
I'm with you. I remember seeing it and I remember liking it, but I've only watched it once, and that was when it originally came out, not at the theater, but in video, and I watched it at home. And I probably should go back and revisit that one. Sakina says that we're not challenging her. So I've got some, we're going to go back. I think these final questions go back a little bit more in time. So maybe it'll be a little more of a challenge for you, Sakina. Superfan Jill Carter was 5 of 6, by the way. I'm not sure if I shared that one, so I'll share that one. And let's keep moving. Let's see how we do here. Okay, we're going back to the 70s for this one. Which 70s horror film featured a protagonist named Leatherface? Was it Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Boogans, or The Hills Have Eyes?
The Boogans.
The Boogans is an actual movie.
I believe it.
It was a low-budget movie.
Yes, it was.
1981, The Boogans came out.
There's a Boogan. Wait.
Yeah. I'm looking at the cast. No one anyone would recognize. No one anyone would recognize in that movie. All right, we will look at folks another 5 or so seconds. Let me see if I can see any comments that we can flash on the screen while we wait. Robert Rose Jr. says Dog Soldiers is a great underrated werewolf movie. I have never seen that movie. Have you, either of you?
Mm-mm. Never heard of it.
Sounds good.
Yeah, something to look up. What else do we got? Let's see here.
But I do remember that werewolf movie, our TV show that was on Fox.
Oh, yeah.
On Fox's original lineup. And then they got taken off the air real quick.
Do you remember what great actor was in Werewolf?
No.
Chuck Connors.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Chuck Connors wasn't in it. He didn't stay in it. I believe there was some sort of issue with his, there were an issue with him and his contract. I don't know if he wanted to get paid more money, but he was in the initial episodes of Werewolf, and that was a big draw for me to see the Rifleman. I love that guy.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
All right, who's answering this one?
Well, I've never seen the show personally.
Ian, do you know the answer?
I do. Okay. It's B. It's B or number 2 or the second one from the top.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Ian.
It is it was the first movie that really just absolutely hands down disturbed me.
Yeah.
Because it is dark horror.
Yeah.
Too real. With enough mysticism, I guess, in there to make it go, oh, that can't be real, but too real.
Yeah.
And I prefer having something supernatural in my horror. It just makes it funner. When it's just about a homicidal family, it's like, all right. And that's why I didn't really gravitate too much to Rob Zombie's stuff, even though he would mix in monsters and some of that which was spooky, not real, unreal, fiction, that kind of stuff. So not fiction enough for me.
I agree. To me, a good horror movie has to. There's enough real life horrors out here in the world. Exactly. I don't need that. I need to be taken away out of reality into something that's enough of a fantasy world that I get to escape a little bit. And that's where, I think, but I know that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre has its fans. So
it's huge, but it's disturbing. So it's not really, some people really get off on that being disturbed aspect, but not me.
Yeah.
I want to be scared. I'm already disturbed.
Hey, another super chat from DM says Aliens and Predator horror. Definitely The Thing with Kurt. My answer to the first two are no. I don't think I would constitute either of those as horror movies. They were more science fiction to me, but interested in what you guys think.
Totally concur.
Science fiction with monsters.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep. The Thing with Kurt, yeah, I would consider that. It was structured as a horror movie. I felt that was more in the horror genre, even though there was, again, some science fiction in that movie as well. Let me throw another thank you DM's way. Let me see. Do I got anything else new? I'm not sure I do. I think let's throw this. This one DM's way is a way of saying thank you. There we go. The one and only Bruce Lee battling it out with Burt Ward as if there was ever any question who would win that battle in real life.
Oh, they were dear friends. Matter of fact,
They
Burt
were.
studied with him. And yeah, if anybody was choreographed well, they were.
I love that episode with Colonel Gum and the Green Hornet and Kato. All right, let's keep. Johnny Crawford was in the Boogans. I'm going to have to check that later on. TJ 921 Abel. I don't remember that. And again, I haven't seen the Boogans, but I don't remember in any of the advertising. Remember seeing the trailers or anything that he was promoted as a cast member. But I'll definitely check that out because speaking of the Rifleman, I'm a huge fan of Johnny Crawford. All right, let's keep moving. We are slowing down. We've got scores showing up, but let's just go to the end and then we'll get everybody's scores at the very end. Question 8. What movie or which movie did the main character mispronounce Klaatu Barada Nikto, creating a catastrophic demonic attack? Was it Army of Darkness, Cabin in the Woods, Evil Dead, or Evil Dead 2? We'll wait for a second, let folks answer. I think they're going to struggle with this one. Which, by the way, this is, let me just say, one of my favorite movies of all time. When speaking of good horror movies, all of the movies that are listed there are good horror movies in my mind for different reasons. But this one had an element of humor to it that just could not be beat.
Made it groovy.
Yes.
I saw the live musical Evil Dead. The
Oh,
musical.
you did.
It was so entertaining. If anybody, you guys have a chance to see that, I would guess it's probably out there this time of year. It's phenomenal. You get very bloody, but I'll tell you, it's worth it. Matter of fact, they almost took my eye out with some of that stuff, but it was it's a full-on audience participation. You got to come with the right.
What was that, 10, 15 years ago that came out? It's been a while ago, right?
It could be. It was just a couple years back that we saw it here in San Jose, California. And, oh God, it was just fantastic. So entertaining. So entertaining.
All right. Correct answer. Who's going to answer this one?
It's got to be Pat.
Oh, I knew he was going to do that. Well, see, here's the problem. You got 3 different Evil Dead movies. And I would almost just say it must be the day the earth stood still, right? Because that's what made
Which is what that phrase comes from. Which is what? Is it I come in peace? Is that the way they said I come in peace?
No, that was the line to get Gort to not destroy the earth.
Okay.
Once he got shot. He was like, he told Patricia Neal, you got to go to see this. You got to go tell Gort, Klaatu Barada Nikto. Just remember that. Yeah. And of course, that was so. But then, okay, so it's going to be. Oh man, Evil Dead 2 was my all-time favorite horror film, but I don't know. I'm going to say Evil Dead. I could be wrong. Ooh. What?
Yeah, it was Evil Dead 3 or Army of Darkness, where the wizard told him to remember the phrase Klaatu Barada Nikto. And he says, yeah, right. And then he needs to remember it. And of course, all sorts of horrible things happen.
So
Correct answer is Army of Darkness. But Evil Dead 2 is one of my favorites too. For the reason that it's scarier and yet still manages to be funny.
Oh man, Bruce Campbell getting in a fight with his hand. You just can't beat that stuff.
You cannot beat that. You cannot beat it. And yet that movie still made me jump a number of times.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, the genius of Sam Raimi. The genius of Sam Raimi. All right. Which Abbott and Costello movie is not real? Abbott and Costello meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. Abbott and Costello meet the Invisible Man. Or Abbott and Costello meet the Wolfman. This is a hard one.
This is a really hard one.
We'll let folks answer for a minute here. Let me see what we got going in the chat. Yes, there was. Superfan Spike Spikerson says, oh, wait. Bruce is the best. This is my boomstick. There was another comment I wanted to get to. I thought it was from Spike Spikerson, but maybe it wasn't. Oh, he says, though, another superfan Spike Spikerson comment says, I used to look forward to Art Bell's spooky Halloween shows. Always scared me so much. Did any of you guys listen to Art Bell? I used to listen to Art Bell overnight.
No.
I listened to the guy who came on. It was a George Norrie.
Yes, George Norrie.
The guy who came on afterwards,
right?
Or like kind of after him.
Yes.
Who took up the? But I heard a couple of those Art Bells. I worked at a gas station one time, and I left as soon as the night guy got there, and right at that transition period, he would come in and start listening to Art Bell, and yeah, those were cool. But I listened to more George Norrie for a while there. Couldn't sleep.
I like George Norrie as well. Art Bell, though, he had you hit the nail on the head. I was working overnight at Kmart stocking shelves. They'd lock me in overnight, and I'd just stock shelves over all night. And I'd catch Art Bell, and then I'd catch George Norrie. But Art Bell, he definitely had the handle on the creepiness factor, right? Because he also, at least I don't know where he was really broadcasting it from, but it sounded like he was broadcasting from his own, like a home out in the desert, just out there alone. And he was talking about UFOs, strange creatures, all sorts of creepy things, and great stuff.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Art Bell, one of the best. He totally was fascinating.
Yeah, I loved his cryptozoology.
Yeah,
talking about Bigfoot and chupacabra.
Right,
fun stuff. And he'd have people that are always on, just almost catching them. We almost got him this week, man. We almost got one.
Looks like
maybe next week you'll get it.
Lance Chafin's taken off. Hey, good night, Lance Chafin. Have a good one, buddy. All right, let's see. Let's let the guy who feels like he's invisible tonight answer the question.
Okay.
Danny Staten says
that's a good idea because I have no idea.
The Wolfman is the answer. But the Wolfman was in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Well done, Danny Staten. That is the correct answer. There was no Meet the Wolfman, but I was hoping I could trick a few people because the Wolfman was in Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. Good job.
Yeah.
All right.
Based off deduction, that was clearly the answer.
Clearly the answer.
I had
All
no
right.
idea.
Final question, and then we'll look at scores. In what state did the Amityville Horror take place? Was it Maine, New Hampshire, New Jersey, or New York?
I'm gonna. Oh well, I'm not gonna say it.
Does anybody remember the name of the pig in that movie or in the book? Even the kid, the imaginary pig that the kid befriended that would look at him through the window. With the red eyes. Anybody remember the name of that pig?
Satan Arnold.
Arnold, I like that.
Yeah.
No, it was, I think, and I'm going off memory again. I read the Amityville Horror when I was in junior high. I was fascinated by the whole story. And at that time, I believed it to be true, But Jody, I believe, was the name of the imaginary pig friend that one of the children had. Scary stuff when you think it's true. Not so scary when you realize that it was kind of all a hoax and made up. Let's see. Who answered last besides Danny Staten?
I was the last one to answer. I can't remember.
Geography time, my friend. Where did the Amityville Horror take place?
Somewhere in the Northeast. No, I'd be honest. By deduction, not New Jersey, not New York. It was, New Hampshire, New Hampshire. Maine, New Hampshire, Maine.
Amityville, New York.
Really?
New Hampshire, New York.
New York.
It was New York.
Yes, indeedy.
I would have had no idea. I would have gone with New Hampshire or Maine too.
I thought it was Maine. That's why I put Maine on there.
Me
I
too.
thought it was Maine. That's when I was creating this question, I thought it was Maine. All right. Let's see final scores. Let's get a new thing up here. And Spider Pig was also a great guess for the name of the pig. Porky was another good one. Crispy Bacon. Arnold, to your answer there. I like that. Satan Arnold. Those of us that are fans of the old Green Acres. Let's see. Al Oduardi says he was 8 of 10.
That's me too.
John H, 8 of 10. Tyrell, 100% for the night. Good job. Superfan Superplex, 7 of 10. Candy's Channel, 8 of 10. Look at those last ones, kind of got people. Mike D, Superfan Mike D, 10 of 10. James Mitchell, 8 of 10. Let's see. Cindy D, 9 for 10. Rosemary Magrino was 6 of 10. Kimberly Wiederhold knocked it out of the park tonight, 10 of 10. Good job. Miles High, 9 of 10. Superfan Emily Miller, have a great night. Emily, congratulations on a great score. Superfan Tracy Roth Myers, 4 of 10. Atran Fanatic, 8 of 10. Karen Lester, 8 of 10. Sakina says that's her city, New York. So I hope you got that one right, Sakina. Daryl Johnston, 10 of 10. Keith Risk must have joined us late, 0 of 3. Yeah, those last ones were tougher. Michael Cole, Superfan Michael Cole, 10 of 10, a true treat. Well, indeed it was. That was hopefully the plan. And those of you that got 10 of 10, that was a true trick. Well done. Tim the Enchanter, 9 of 10. Carl Smith, referring to the Amityville Horror, says it was a hoax and made up, but there were elements of truth to it. Well, I can buy that. Superfan Elf Dog 100 says 8 of 10. What about a swamp, or what about the Swamp Thing as a horror movie? Fantasy to me almost. It was a DC comic book, and I did enjoy the first. That was a Wes Craven movie, right? The first, I think Wes Craven directed the original Swamp Thing movie with Adrienne Barbeau in it. Marcus Smith, 7 of 10. Jeff Hemphill, 8 of 10. Lisa Fields, Superfan Lisa Fields, 9 of 10. Jay Aldridge was 7 of 10. Let's see. Dolph Quick was 7 of 10. Keith didn't do so well. That's okay, Keith. Don't feel bad, man. John H. says, how about some Green Acres trivia? Speaking of Arnold. John Collins, Superfan John Collins was 8 of 10. Let's see. Carl Smith missed 2. That makes him 8 of 10. Sakina McMurrin was 9 of 10. Good job. Cynthia Abbott says, I've really jazzed up the channel, and she loves it. Well, great. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's, you know what? I got great community members in the chat, and I've got great guests with me. You can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Todd McCreary was 9 of 10. Let's see. Kimberly Wiederhold says, question 9 was a trick question. You fell for it. Yeah, I did design it that way. A little bit tougher question, and you had to go back a little bit. If you didn't watch, if you're not watching Svengoolie on Saturday nights, that one could trip you up. Georgia Ayers, 8 of 10. DB Vetter, 7 of 10. Carl Smith, 8 of 10. Daryl Johnson says, hey, folks, hit the like button. You know what? Not only does Daryl Johnston say that, but...
Hey, folks, if you're enjoying this live stream, be like the Fonz and give it a thumbs up. Hey.
There you go. The Fonz says it as well. Give it a thumbs up. Let's see. Superfan Spike Spikerson says the later questions were harder, 8 of 10. Daryl Johnston was 10 of 10. Danny Staten, where are you, Mr. Invisible? All. Got them all correct. Sakina says the Abbott and Costello one got her. Yeah, I kind of thought it might get some folks. And let's see, I think I had, Superfan Jill Carter was 9 of 10. Nicely done, Jill. Thanks for checking in on me Sunday, too. And you sent me a number of, I think mostly in Twitter, you sent me a message and a couple comments curious as to why I hadn't showed up for that live stream. So I appreciate your concern. George Ayers, 8 of 10. Let's see. All right, I think that's about it. Carl Smith, 8 of 10. Any other scores? Custom God, 8 of 10. I do have another super chat. DM, thank you so much for the super chats tonight. I really appreciate the support. He or she says, or they. I want to make sure I get all of them correct. They. I'm going to go with they because I do not know what pronouns they like to use. Check out Haunting of Bly Manor on Netflix. Loved it. I haven't seen that one, so I definitely will. Thank you so much for the suggestion. And let me throw another thank you my way. Because we only got to one Lawrence Welk today, I have a bonus Lawrence Welk. So this is for Pat, but we're going to start with a little. This is how I'm feeling about the super chat, DM, and then we'll go to Lawrence afterwards.
Pure dynamite! Thank you very, very, very much.
Yes, thank you very, very much. Where were you, Jay? Jay Aldridge says, first time joining the live stream. Happy you got a high score. Well done, Jay. Sakina says, 2 thumbs up, Dave. Good stuff indeed. Thank you for joining. Danny Staten says that he reviewed a Dark Shadows comic book this week. I have not watched that one. Last one I watched was the Munsters one, Danny. So I'll definitely check that one out. Let's see. Todd McCurry says, bring on the bubbles. I just did, my friend. I brought on the bubbles. And Cindy D says, how about some good times trivia night? I definitely have that. Do I have that written down? I think I might even have that written down somewhere. Something to do in the future. A great suggestion for sure. So, folks, like I said earlier, we got a little Halloween cartoon that I'm going to play after I thank each one of you for being part of this community, being here during this phenomenal Halloween live stream. Thank you so much to everyone who's participated tonight. But a special thank you has to go out to my good friends Ian C. from Retro Serial and Pat McCormick from Pat McCormick from Golden Rage of TV. That's how you find him on YouTube. Right. Just type in Golden Rage of TV and you're going to find Pat McCormick. Type in Retro Serial. Is there a space in between the two words?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, type in Retro Serial with a space and you'll find Ian's channel. Both of them are just phenomenal channels. And you know what? The cool thing about the channels are as well, topics sometimes are similar. Sometimes there's a little bit of overlap even with my channel. Every one of these guys, and I think myself too, we handle them in a different way. So you get kind of different perspectives on similar topics. And, if you love talking about music, movies, and mostly TV, if you like going back there and taking a nostalgic trip down memory lane, well, this really is the good stuff. So, Hey, thanks again, Pat. Thank you, Ian. Thanks to everybody. And like I said, as we go out here tonight, we're going to end it with a cartoon in about 30 seconds. So thanks again, guys. Happy Halloween to one and all.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Yeah.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Whoopee.